Varrick's all about that Kate, because he raised her from a very early age to be the best assassin in the entire world. But when she goes against the cause, it's all over for Kate, which is a Netflix original directed by Cedric Nicholas Troyan, who directed The Huntsman Winter War and stars Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Kate. And Varrick is played by Woody Harrelson, and there are other assorted people like bringing in a young girl named Annie. Annie, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Well, at least the character's named Annie. And this is pretty much Mimi's first role. So I'm not going to try to pronounce the Japanese actors' names because I'm just going to screw it up. But there is an assorted cast of people that have been in various movies and actually do come together to create something that is quite actually good. I was actually very surprised by how much I like this because it's about an assassin named Kate, hence the title, that is on a mission and ends up coming into contact with something that gives her only 24 hours to live. And she has to figure out what happened, why this happened, get revenge before all this stuff goes down and, well, she dies. Because when you only have about 24 hours to live and you have to come up with ways to keep yourself going to exact your revenge, you have to basically do a whole bunch of stuff you wouldn't have thought possible. You would just have to do every goddamn thing in your power to keep going to exact your revenge because that's all you know. All you know is how to kill. So Mary Elizabeth Winstead is pretty much phenomenal in this, and she's been phenomenal for a number of years since Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and she's even been good in stuff before that. And she was terrific in Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. I prefer the one where he hunts for audio equipment. Abraham Lincoln Mike Hunter. If you get it, you get it. And there's Woody Harrelson's pretty much the only other big actor as far as American audiences go, and he is the boss Varrick, or rather V, and he ended up taking care of her from an early age, and she has become one of the best assassins. And I'll get into spoilers here in a little bit, even though if you've seen any assassin movie, or quite frankly any movie, or have been outside for more than 5 minutes, you probably can guess where this is going. He tasks her with something that leads to the death of somebody right in front of this young girl that turns out to be Annie, and she becomes integral to the plot a little bit later. And then flash forward from Osaka to Tokyo, Japan, which, yes, Osaka is in Japan for you geography majors out there. I'm sure you might even be shocked by that, I say. Kate's still kind of feeling the effects of this because the one rule is no kids. Collateral damage happens, no doubt, but she's kind of torn up about this. So she goes out one night and then ends up basically poisoned by something. And holy shit, who the fuck did this? And she figures that it is probably the people that were related to the person that she shot earlier. So naturally, with the correct mindset, while in the hospital, she tells the doctor, hey, give me a whole bunch of stuff, stimulants and everything's going to keep me going. I want to go out and exact this revenge. Well, she doesn't exactly say that, but that's implied by the fact that, oh yeah, she wants revenge. As you would if you were poisoned by somebody. Even though you've been a vicious killer, contracted to do this stuff, you're still a killer that's been doing this stuff, even if you've been paid for it and you're trying to justify it. So really, there's no good or bad people. And it's kind of a bit like Crank, except you don't have a crazy Jason Statham nailing Amy Smart on a field. If you remember that movie, I mean, I think we all would have wanted to have nailed Amy Smart at that point. But anyway, there's also stuff with the Yakuza, which is apparently still a thing in Japan. I wasn't actually fully aware of that. And there are all these beautiful high-rise buildings and a lot of J-pop. A lot of fucking J-pop. And there is an appearance by one of my favorite J-pop, J-rock bands, Band-Maid. I love Band-Maid. They've been making great music for a number of years, and they actually appeared during a club scene. That was really goddamn cool. But Kate continues to try to exact revenge gradually with gunfights and knife fights and stuff like that. And you never bring a knife to a gunfight, but you bring knives when you need to stab someone's throat. That's how the saying goes, I think. And there's a lot of really terrific action, a lot of really, really good stuff as far as like the action sequences and the flippy camera views. And you can tell there's a lot of style and a lot of pizzazz put into this because when you do assassin movies, you have to try and be stylish, hence Gunpowder Milkshake. And that's kind of the comparison some people have been making here, that oh, this and Gunpowder Milkshake were released in the same year. They're not quite the same thing. Gunpowder Milkshake, while at times dark, was had a little bit more, I'm trying to find a word to say this, a little more like comedy behind it, because it was a little more breezy, I guess. This one was a little bit darker because you would have thought, okay, in Gunpowder Milkshake, oh, there's going to be all this bloodshed, and there was, and I reviewed that if you want to check that out. This one was a little bit more grounded in reality. Yeah, okay, the girl's taking stimulants to keep herself alive and everything. Maybe not the most grounded in reality, but as far as the core story of Kate realizing her humanity at the end of her life, as any assassin would, like, what have I done? Okay, got to do this one good thing. That's pretty much where the separation happens. But considering how stylish and colorful that movie is and how stylish and colorful Kate is, I can see the comparisons. But it wraps up how you would expect it to wrap up, but it does have a particular sense of style that elevates it above other assassin movies. So now I am going to get into spoilers. It's on Netflix. If you got a Netflix account, check it out. It's well worth checking out. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who is fucking gorgeous, by the way, really does lend a lot of good humanity and everything to this movie. And Woody Harrelson, he seems kind of checked out. But he's just Woody Harrelson. That's what it is. Anyway, let's get into spoilers right now. Spoilers. Okay, if you're still here, spoilers. So there's this guy Kojima, not to be with an I, not to be confused with Hideo Kojima, the former Konami head. And he's got his family and everything, and he witnessed that whole thing happen with the person that got shot earlier. So Kate naturally thinks that maybe he was the person that did it because he's in such seclusion, because he's such a powerful mob boss, that he must have been the one that ordered the hit to poison her. No, it turned out actually that what all this was, despite, seeing Bandmate and everything, which was pretty, again, fucking terrific, and her kidnapping Annie to get information and everything, because Annie is the niece of him and, the end of the bloodline. God, Roman Reigns and the Usos are going to be pissed. But any wrestling fans that are watching this at this point will, get a pop from that. She's trying to get information from her. She develops a bond with Annie. And there's some, she ends up needing help from Annie because even though these stimulants are working, the radiation, poison that she got, and that's what it is. It was something called, let's see, what the hell was it? Palomin 204, I think that's how it was. I don't actually fully remember the name because they kind of just threw that thing out there and then said, yeah, we'll come back to it later. Annie ends up helping her out and everything, but they end up getting information from this one henchman who actually is, who they end up beating up his K-pop boyfriend. Seriously, he looked like every K-pop guy just with a, bunch of tattoos and everything. They beat him up in the kitchen, and that was actually kind of a cool fight scene. She gets in a fight with a bunch of other people earlier in like one of those almost like Japanese bathhouses. That was kind of hilarious with all the twisty camera views and all the sword play and all that and the guns. And that was really, really nice. There was a lot of really good assassin work here. And eventually she does find out that Varric was the one that did it. V was the one that did it. The boss betrayed her. The one that brought her from a very early age and trained her to be an assassin. The one that said, all the stuff that he ended up saying to Annie about how, yeah, I'm going to take care of you, I'm going to do this, and now starts the rest of your life. He's doing the same thing with her. It seems like Kate dies with about 30 minutes left to go in the movie. Oh no, what the hell is going to happen? Because she was going to kill this Kojima guy, except she didn't. He had this big long talk with her and everything about how he was betrayed by his own family and she was betrayed by hers, so to speak, and that he turned around and said, let me die with honor. She was going to shoot him. She didn't. And then he ends up giving her, I think, one of the last stimulants she had. And then, he's got a sling and everything. But he brings his Yakuza friends with him. And they take over this building. And they take down V and everything. She gut shots V. And then she dies on the roof. That's pretty much it right there. There isn't a ton to this outside of the stylish stuff. And the stylish stuff you have to see to, really appreciate it. But it is really well made. And it does have some good heart to it. Is it perfect? No. But is it one of the better Netflix originals that have been done? Yes. Is elevated by Mary Elizabeth Winstead's performance. And the girl playing Annie was also pretty good in this. Hopefully she gets some more acting roles. I think this is only her fourth role that she's gotten. I think this is the biggest budget thing she's been part of. But it was pretty good. It was pretty good, pretty damn enjoyable with some good stuff. And it didn't overstay its welcome. I think it was over in 95, 96 minutes. So it was nice and breezy and everything. Easy, breezy, beautiful assassin girl. So there we go. A-. I'm going to give it an A- because it was quite entertaining, quite good, and, it was, again, a cut above a lot of Netflix originals. Agree, disagree what I said? Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.